Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for clicking on my video. I greatly appreciate it. We're on part 3 of the Modern Marvels truck stop documentary. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2, I'll leave that down in the description below. But we're going to go ahead and get right into it. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, it definitely means a lot to me. All right, let's go.
This big boy needs to weigh in. And he can do that right at the truck stop.
Yeah, we left off weight station. Sorry. We're getting into it.
Welcome to our lady. Is this your first wife?
Yes, it is.
What's your truck number?
1058.
In just a fraction of a second, the automated scale calculates the weight of the heavy hauler.
I have you weighed. Bring a trailer number in with you.
Thanks.
So this documentary by Modern Marvels was made back in 2007. If you haven't caught the first couple episodes, so a lot of things has changed. This is pretty well the same. The only difference that I would suggest doing is downloading the CatScale app, loading your company card onto the app, and you can just do everything through your phone while you're sitting there. This way, you don't have to go inside and get the paper copy, unless your customer, of course, needs the paper copy, and they're being a pain in the butt. So, if you're just weighing for weight's sake, to make sure you're good, I definitely recommend downloading the app for that.
Federal maximum weight allowed for a tractor and trailer is 80,000 pounds. And drivers rely on scales at truck stops to keep their weight in check.
Right.
Overweight trucks not only damage roads, but also pose grave dangers. The heavier the truck, the greater the distance and time it needs to stop.
We've seen some of those on this channel.
A 100,000-pound truck takes 25% longer to stop than an 80,000-pound truck. Weigh stations along the highway ensure trucks are within the legal limit.
It's very important that we be here to be sure that weight is regulated properly.
Oh, Tennessee Highway Patrol.
That one of these tractor and trailers encounter a regular passenger vehicle, of course the passenger vehicle is going to lose, no matter who is at fault.
Right.
In 1913,
Now, you can get permits and stuff if you're overweight. Those cost money, and you have to have them on every state that you're going to be traveling through, and you have to have an approved road route. Same thing with oversized, overweight, same thing. You have to have permits for it, though. Other than that, you're at 80,000.
passed America's first law regulating truck weight. And by 1933, all states had some kind of truck weight limit.
Wow, even back then.
Modern truck scales consist of concrete and steel plates that rest on a set of load cells. A load cell converts force into a measurable electrical output.
No kidding.
A load cell looks exactly like this. Inside the cell, you can see a stainless steel bar down the middle. Attached to it are strain gauges. What actually is measured by this cell is the compression of this stainless steel rod.
As the truck drives onto the scale, the load cells compress, causing the strain gauges to deform and generate a change in voltage.
No kidding. I didn't realize it was
A signal is
electrical.
sent from each load cell through a device called a sectional controller and into the fuel center, where a computer digitally calculates the weight of the truck.
Interesting.
The science of weighing heavy objects dates back to 200 BC, when the Romans invented the steel yard. They used it to weigh precious goods, like gold. The steel yard consisted of a beam with a sliding weight to counterbalance the load. Today, this type of device is still used in the modern scales at most doctors' offices. How about a doctor scale 3 stories high?
So, quick note before we get too far on this, it is a good idea if you're a truck driver to know your empty weight. This way you know how much weight your truck can carry. So if you get to your shipper, and you get loaded up with, let's say, 47,000 pounds worth of stuff, and your truck is heavier than that will accommodate, you know automatically that it's going to be overweight and they're going to need to take some stuff off. A lot of those places that are loading up really heavy like that have scales on site to make sure you're good. But just a good rule of thumb, especially if you're booking your own loads or anything, know your empty weight. Most are going to be anywhere between 29,000 pounds to 33,000 pounds, depending on the truck. But know your empty weight. This way you know how much you can have loaded onto, up to where the total is 80,000.
These massive steel yards were developed in the 18th century to weigh wagons and rail cars.
Commerce pushed the weighing of heavy items in the 1800s. Just as if you would have a farm and you were hauling some type of produce, you would want to weigh that produce when you would buy it in bulk.
Right.
But using steel yards was a daunting task because the vehicles had to be lifted up onto the scale. Innovators tried to devise an easier method and succeeded with the platform scale.
In the 1830s, a gentleman named Thaddeus Fairbanks patented the first platform scale. Now, something such as a horse-drawn cart could be pulled directly onto the scale.
No kidding. They really used to lift up the entire vehicle to figure out how much it weighed. That's
Scale
crazy.
Incorporated the principles of the steel yard with two levers supporting a platform. Pivot points at each corner of the scale allowed the force of the load to be transferred to both levers. The central lever pulled down on the steel yard that determined the weight of the load.
Interesting.
In the late 1940s, the platform scale incorporated electronics. And today, load cells dominate the weighing industry. But the laborious process of stopping the weigh-in is slowing truck traffic.
Definitely. And that's if they don't inspect
The
you.
number of big rigs on the road is skyrocketing, up more than 30% since 1993. This may be the answer to a trucker's prayers. The Oak Ridge National Lab in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, has
Dang, they're in Tennessee all over the place. If you don't know, that's where I live too. But what they're fixing to talk about is the weigh-in motion system, where it's weighing out on the road. And as it stands right now, I'm sure it's going to get into it a little bit more. But as it stands right now, there's scales on the roadway itself. There's scales leading up to the main scale in the weigh station, and then the main scale. The ones on the road, I want to say they weigh up to the 10,000 pounds, and then the one on the inside weighs to the thousands, and then the actual scale weighs to the exact number, but I could be off on that, or to the hundreds or whatever.
integrated weigh-in motion technology and other sensor technologies.
I might be learning something in
to
this
speed
video
up the
too.
process. The system was first installed in 1995 at the nation's second busiest weigh station in Tennessee's Knox County.
That's
This is a
Knoxville.
weigh-in motion system. It's basically a metal plate that is laying on a load cell, and it can detect.
Don't ever bypass the scale there in Knoxville on the west side of Knoxville either. They like to come after drivers.
Load cells capture the instantaneous force one axle at a time as
Right.
the truck drives over them. But drivers never have to stop to weigh in. They can just roll right over the scale at 30 miles per hour.
So that's why they have the higher numbers out on the road. This way, if it knows that you're already good based off of that, then you don't even have to pull into the weigh station itself.
And only those trucks that are within 2,000 pounds of the legal limit or exceed it are pulled in for a more precise calculation.
As he's coming up through there, you see he's got a good tag. Driver does have his seatbelt on. Company names on the side of the truck. His DOT number's there and his fuel permit. Tires all look good. We'll look down and check his weight. Weight looks good, so then I'll release him.
Just 85
Gotcha.
miles north
I'd like to go and
of
take a
Oak
tour
Ridge
of a
Station.
weigh station on the inside
Oak
for you
Ridge National
guys.
Lab and Kentucky Vehicle Enforcement have deployed another advanced system that can both weigh and inspect the truck in motion. It even sniffs for bombs.
So essentially what
You're
we're doing
kidding.
is placing the proper sensors out here, information that we can attain off of a truck in motion, and provide that in a near instantaneous manner to the state police.
As the truck pulls into the station, it travels over a weigh-in motion scale.
Right.
Then it passes an infrared camera that checks the brakes.
An infrared camera only sees heat. So heat is displayed as white and cold is black. Brakes work by producing heat from motion energy. So if there is no heat, there is no brake.
Gotcha. So it transfers motion and energy to heat energy.
Scanner that collects information about the overall length of the truck, how many axles the truck has, and the speed of the truck. This is a radiation detector. The radiation detector measures for gamma and neutron radiation.
Wow.
The radiation portal monitor can detect trace amounts of threat substances based on their radiation signature, all while the truck is in motion.
Heads up to anybody coming from Laredo or down south. Apparently they have these that detect for narcotics too.
This device can help prevent
Either that or they're
terrorists from
promoting that it
transporting
does and it
bombs
really
and
doesn't.
biological warfare agents across the country.
This is an
I should probably not be a smartass. Don't haul narcotics over into the United States. Thanks.
automatic license plate recognition system that actually takes a pretty wide view of the front of the truck, finds the license plate, zooms in on it, takes the text from the front of it, and sends it to a database to be checked.
In a matter of seconds, the station gathers enough information to give the truck a green light to exit, or a red light to pull up for inspection.
A weigh station can not only be a place that we do road preservation and highway safety, but can help us from the standpoint of homeland security, environmental protection, and highway congestion.
Less congestion means less wasted diesel fuel. And one country music legend's truck.
I know that they're there for safety and they're there to promote safety and keep the bad trucks off the road, but you'll find at a weigh station a lot of times if you get pulled in for an inspection, I'd say a good 8 out of 10 times they're going to find something. And some officers can be really cool. Some others, can be a pain in the butt. I had a coworker of mine get pulled into a weigh station because he was in an older truck, old FLD, and everything was fine on the truck, not a single issue. And they ended up writing him a violation for a little corner of the D in the DOT missing, for improper signage or something like that. Ended up giving him a bad inspection for something that small. If you're an officer watching my channel, I hope you're not like that. Definitely look out for safety issues and keep the highway safe. I appreciate that. But nitpicking little things like that and not just saying, hey, this is technically not right, but, go get it fixed. It'll be all right. A little bit of information is better than, sticking somebody with a ticket. It just makes a bad impression on everybody, whether it's a car or a truck. And, it makes it look like the state is just out to get some extra money.
Truckers traveling down Interstate 35 between Dallas and Waco, Texas.
Okay, I don't know if you're hearing that.
Seek out one of the most unique truck stops in the United States.
We'll go ahead and turn up the volume a little bit. Sounds like it got muffled.
Carl's Corner unusual. It's co-owned by country music legend Willie Nelson. And the fuel sold here, Bio Willie, is a biofuel that's 80% diesel and 20% vegetable oil. This clean burning biodiesel blend reduces harmful exhaust emissions by more than 10%. And that's not the only advantage it offers.
Well, the truckers
I've absolutely never used the biofuel.
and that means more money in their pocket. So naturally, perks up their ears a little bit.
Biodiesel is made through a chemical process called transesterification.
I haven't used it not because I'm anti-biofuel. I've just never used it. Don't know enough information about it. I pull into the regular pumps and pump up that stuff.
In which glycerin is separated from oil through the use of a catalyst and an alcohol.
But if you are considering using that stuff, make sure your truck can support it.
We're going to put it on a stir plate, and I'm going to add in my alcohol and catalyst mixture here. And let's see what happens.
Okay, some sciencey stuff going on here.
So you can see the oil got murky as it started to, the glycerin is starting to break from the biodiesel. And now it's turned a nice clear color, which means that most of the glycerin has separated from the methyl ester chains. And
okay, bunch of stuff I do not understand.
Biodiesel right there.
We're about to learn something, y'all.
Methanol molecules attached to the fatty acid chain of vegetable oil. The 3 bonds of the glycerol molecule break off due to this interaction, resulting in 3 long methyl ester chains, or biodiesel. Carl's
Okay.
Corner sets itself apart not only by selling biodiesel, but also by producing it right at the truck stop. A newly constructed facility refines 8,000 gallons every day. Every unit of fossil fuel required to make biodiesel results in 3.2 units of energy gain. On the downside, biodiesel can gel in cold weather. So how did a brand of biodiesel named after a country music star get its start here? Let's go back to 1979.
So when winter comes around, they have anti-gel additives that you can add to your semi-truck. I'm guessing that's more for this. I've talked to a couple of different people that have said use it for the diesel, the regular diesel fuel. Don't use it for the regular diesel fuel. They already add that stuff into it. Up to you what you want to put in your truck, or if you work for a company, do whatever they say. It's their truck. If something gets messed up, it's on them. But yeah, I've done both. I don't see any negative happenings one way or another. So
That's when a friend of Willie's, entrepreneur Carl Cornelius, opened Carl's Corner to fill the needs of passing truckers.
I started one room at a time. And if they asked for a swimming pool, I put it in. If they asked for a hot tub, put it in. They asked for an adult bar, I put it in.
For 25 years, the fuel at Carl's Corner, like at most
Okay,
truck
now the
stops,
audio's
was
better.
conventional diesel. Then, Willie started learning about biodiesel.
My wife, Annie, came to me one day and said, I want to buy this car. It's a Volkswagen Jetta. And it's a diesel, but it runs on vegetable oil. So she did, and it runs on vegetable oil. So I thought that was pretty good.
Willie learned that any diesel engine can run on biodiesel. In fact, when inventor Rudolf Diesel presented the first diesel engine in 1900, it was designed to run not on petroleum, but peanut oil. But since petroleum was more commercially available in the early decades of the 20th century, the idea of biodiesel faded away.
So why bring it back, Mr. Willie?
In recent years, however, many have recognized biodiesel's benefits. And
Well,
in
let's hear about 'em.
2004, Nelson set out to create his own brand. And what better place to sell it than the truck stop owned by his buddy Carl?
He was thinking about closing the truck stop down.
I don't think I've ever
so I
been to
called
a
him and
Carl's
said,
Corner.
Wait a minute, let's sell some biodiesel down there. And I said, well, you believe in it? And he said, well, yeah, I believe in it. And I said, well, let's do the whole damn
It's
thing.
in
I don't have
Texas.
a reason to sell diesel, let's just sell biodiesel. And that's what we did.
Carl partnered with both Willie and Earth Biofuels and made plans to update the truck stop. During 2006 and 2007, Carl's Corner got a major makeover, adding a new saloon and renovating an 850-seat theater so Willie can stop by and perform at any time.
I'll have to look into that.
Willie's place at Carl's Corner is what we as a company had envisioned.
I don't know if it's still
the
around.
symbol,
Again, this
the bio-
this was made in 2007, so a lot of stuff has changed since then, and I didn't get started trucking until 2016. So even between then and now has changed a lot. So I don't remember ever seeing a Carl's Corner. I'll have to look up to see if it's still in existence. Hey, so I went back after this video and took a look. It looks like the Carl's Corner truck stop is no longer in existence as a Carl's Corner truck stop. It's been bought out by Petro, and it's still in existence as a building, but it's no longer operated by Carl or any affiliates of Carl. It's owned by Petro TA.
We're trying to show the farmers can bring it to market, and the biodiesel plant is there. The truck stop is here. The interstate is here, and it's all locally owned, and everything will stay in the community and not be sent off to somebody overseas or something.
More and more truck stop owners are following Willie and Carl's example, offering biodiesel as an alternative fuel. counted among the many innovations that have redefined these ever-evolving
Gotcha.
roadside oases.
Yeah, a lot of truck stops have a separate area for biodiesel. You'll see it. Most of them have the white tanks, and it's green and white. I don't remember what it's called. Again, I've never used it myself, but yeah, that's definitely an option there. Yeah, I enjoyed watching that truck stop documentary. I learned a few things, and a lot of stuff. A lot of the technology is kind of outdated now, and we've moved on to bigger and better things. Hey, if you enjoyed that, let me know about it. Maybe we can get into some other documentaries concerning trucks or travel, and take a look at those. Again, if you haven't seen part 1 and part 2, those are way more interesting than this one was. Go and check those out. I definitely recommend that. Those will be in the description below. Thank you again for taking the time to watch my video. If you wouldn't mind, subscribe to my channel. All right, take care. Be safe. Bye.